Good morning, everyone. St. Patrick's Day is just around the corner, and I thought I would share a couple of super quick and easy ideas that you could create for your cookie stencils. The first one I'm going to play with is this Let the Shenanigans Begin. The ones I'm showing you, I found them all on lovesvg.com, which has tons of really nice, perfectly easy to work with free images. So if you have not seen them yet, I encourage you to go and check out that website, lovesvg.com. And I downloaded some. As you can see, once they download here, they're actually in zip files, so you would need to unzip them in order to use them. You just click on your download and say extract all files here, and then you're going to choose a place to put them. So it's going to either extract it to a folder for you, like the downloads, or you can choose folders to put them in. And then you'll click extract when you decide where you want to put it. So I've already downloaded a couple of them. Let's see, let me get a new design space. So I've downloaded these 4. I've already uploaded a couple of them into my images. And I want to show you first one of the ones that I already uploaded, and then I'll do another one that I'll do from scratch with the upload. So this Let the Shenanigans Begin, and this one would be the exact same way of what I'm going to show you. The concepts are completely universal in these 2 designs, where I can create multi-part stencils. I can either make all of this in one stencil, or I could only use the font. You could only use the face and put something else in the middle. Here on this Shenanigans, you can take out this part and only use the font, or vice versa. So you could have one part of the stencil be this, and then a second part of the stencil be this. We can use these parts to make a background stencil. So I'm going to take this one here first and insert that image, and then show you some of the possibilities. But really, with her images, there are so many possibilities, things you can do with them. So first thing I'm going to do, I accidentally saved that as print. So the first thing I'm going to do is change that to no fill so that it's a cut image. And going to use the contour, or actually before I do contour, I want to duplicate that so I can show you a couple of different things with it. Let me make it a little smaller. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate that a couple of times so I can show you a couple of things with it. You could if you didn't duplicate it, you could also just bring it back in, choosing your images a couple of times. But the first one we're going to work with, I'm going to use this contour on the bottom right. And if you haven't ever used that, it's so easy and quick. So I'm going to contour out of this first image the top and bottom. Okay, let's check that out and make sure I got that. So that's all gone. The second one, I'm going to contour out the font. You could also slice this out, but we do so much slicing, I thought I would show you the contour tool. Make sure to get the middles of the letters. Get rid of all of, one more. Okay, that's all gone. Close that up. Okay, so now this one, and then if you don't mess with it, if you don't do any resizing, you put these together. Oh, actually I already resized, but you put them together to make them fit before you go to cut them. So if I were ready to cut this, and I'll go ahead and bridge this one too, just in case you're wanting to use that for a plastic stencil before I show you the next part. So if you do not bridge this, your entire A is going to fall out, not just the middle. Same with this A and this B. So we're going to insert a shape, a square, and go ahead and slice these 3 letters. And you just want to make sure that you get your shape, your rectangle, so that you don't hit any of your other letters. I did that last night in the middle of a project without noticing it and had to go back, and it was so many undos I couldn't even find where I had done it. So always kind of make sure the peripheral of your slice is not affecting other letters. I like that size and shape, so I'm going to duplicate it because I have 2 A's. I want them to be exactly the same. Let's try that. Select my rectangle and let the shenanigans begin. Where'd that go? Oh, I'm holding the wrong button. No wonder that's not working. That doesn't work if you hold the caps lock down. Okay, so we've got that one. And then I'm going to delete all these little slice cuts. I try to keep my layers panel pretty clean. Then before I do anything else, I make sure I like the nice clean look of that, because if I don't like it, I just hit the undo button 2 times and then redo that. So this one, I'm going to go ahead and do the same slice. And then I'll check to make sure, do I like, which I'm not sure that I already like that, but let me look at it. Delete. Oh yeah, that's nice and clean. And then this one, since the B is so thin, that's why I didn't make a 3rd one. I'm gonna have to make its own. This little spot here is so thin, it's gonna have to have its own shape and size of a bridge tool here. Can bring that down to the B, and I want to slice both at the same time, the top and the bottom loop. That looks like good placement. Maybe a little bit thinner. Try that. And slice. Then I'll delete those parts and see if I like the way it looks. Nice and clean. Okay, so that's bridged, ready to go for a plastic stencil. If you wanted to do a 2-part stencil, you would simply place this back around it at wherever you wanted that placement, making sure you allow yourself enough room for your cookie. I'm going to grab both, align them, and center them horizontally. Then you're going to, actually you don't really need to center them horizontally, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this, oh, let me change that color again for the video. This lighter color shows up so much better. Move this to the front. I'm going to center this. And attach it. So this one is now 100% ready to go, ready to cut. Then, oh, did I change the size? No, I didn't fix the size of that. Let me detach that. You would, obviously you want to size that for whatever your cookie size is, but I didn't make this square big enough, 5.5. So now I'll recenter that. Align, center, and attach. Ready to cut. I'm going to put in another square. Five by 5. Light. Put this over the front, arrange, move that to the front. Align, center. And attach. So now you have a 2-part stencil for Let the Shenanigans Begin. And this you're doing, you know, one color, pick a different color for this one over here. This is bridged, all of this. Now this one is not ready to be cut on plastic, by the way. Because of these little loop-de-loos, if you cut that out on plastic, you're gonna lose those tiny little inserts, which is really not that big of a deal. For how tiny they are, you're probably not gonna wanna mess with them anyway to try to do silk screen. But if you did want to mess with them, then let me just show you what you would need to do there. Move the square out of the background. When that comes back to life. Okay, that's over there. Oh, quit. Design space. Hopefully this does not restart on me. Cancel. So if you needed to slice this for a regular plastic stencil, which again, I wouldn't recommend. Personally, I would just lose these little centers because it's going to be so tiny. But just in general, to show you some more bridges options besides the font, if you needed to bridge something else, anywhere you have a circle, you're going to lose the inside detail if you don't, or a square. Anytime you have a closed shape or letter, you're going to lose detail if you don't bridge it. So you would need to bridge this. I think I'm not touching that little shamrock there, hopefully not. Slice. So there you'd need that little slit in there. And to me, it would be prettier to just lose the center than to have that bridge. So I probably wouldn't personally do that. But up to you, everybody's preferences are different. Okay, so there's Let the Shenanigans Begin and a 2-part stencil for that. Now, the third option I wanted to show you real quickly is to contour out, to use this for a background stencil. So I'm gonna, actually I want to keep that piece. I'm going to get rid of the top except for the middle. I'm going to get rid of all of the font. And then at the bottom, I'm going to keep the, every time I do that one, I'll tell you what, that A I cannot see. There we go. At the bottom, I want to keep the 2 opposite ones. There we go. So I'm going to get rid of this one. And then, instead of, you could contour that like 3 different times, but I didn't want to mess with all that font 3 times. So I'm just going to slice these off. And I'll slice this one off. So now we have, oh, need to get this one off here. Shapes, square. Slice. Okay. Now you have all of these pieces by themselves here that you can use for a background stencil. I'm going to insert a square and make that the size of the stencil that I want. Just for visual purposes, I'm going to go ahead and just make this green. Okay. And then, actually, let me do this. And I'm going to move this square to the back. Arrange, send it back. So now you can play with these all you want, move them around, duplicate them. Let me make a bunch of those. turn them, just randomly place them wherever you want them, and create a background stencil. When you get all the shapes that you want and all the places that you want, you simply go through your layers panel. You can, if you want to, you don't have to do this, but if you want to, just to make it easier, you can group together all of your, what are those guys? Shamrocks. Then you're going to, they would have already been placed on your stencil, of course. I just moved them off. And you're going to attach them. And those guys are going to cut out. And again, you're going to lose these centers, but they're going to be so tiny, it's going to look so much nicer, and actually it's going to work better than trying to bridge all of those. But that'd be a fun, cute little background stencil. It's attached, it's ready to go when you have placed them where you want them and you like the way it looks. Enjoy. If you guys have any questions, as always, feel free to post them in the comments.